Good morning, students. This is the second part of the chapter, the third level, and as in the first video or in the first part of this chapter, we have seen that uh, the chapter talks about a railway station that is a Grand Central Station in New York, where a young man of 31-year-old Charlie goes. Actually, he escapes, and though the station has two levels only, but he reaches the third level. So today, I would like to tell you the summary of the chapter. Please listen it very carefully, and you need to read the chapter yourself. Please underline the difficult words and see them in the dictionary. Some of them I would also explain here in this chapter. Well, children, the story begins in a mock serious manner. Everyone knows that there are only two levels at Grand Central Station in New York, but Charlie, a 31-year-old guy, asserts that there are three, and he had been on the third level. One night, Charlie, an ordinary guy, worked late at the office, and he was in a hurry to reach home. So he decided to take the subway from Grand Central Station. He turned into Grand Central from Vanderbilt Avenue and went down the steps to the first level, where one could take trains like the 20th century. Then he walked down the second level, where trains left for suburban areas. Then he ducked into an arched doorway heading for the subway and got lost. Though he had lost his way a couple of times earlier too, while taking the subway. Once he entered the lobby of the Roosevelt Hotel, while the other time he emerged at an office building that was 3 blocks away. But this time, when he loses his way, something unique happens. He visits the third level. Charlie keeps walking in the quiet corridor, angling left and slanting downward till he reaches an architecturally old station that is completely different from the two familiar levels. The antiquated small room with fewer ticket counters and train gets a wooden information booth, flickering open flame gas lights, brass spittoons remind him of the architecture of the 1800s. So he travels back in the time of 1890s, where there were open flame gas lights and brass spittoons were used to spit in, and antiquated old small rooms were there, and ticket counters were also not like the counters of today's time. He also finds that people are dressed in how to modern outfits. He noticed that the date on the newspaper, The World, it was very famous newspaper in 1890s, The World, and the date printed on the paper was June 11, 1984. He turns towards the ticket windows and wants to buy 2 tickets to Galesburg, Illinois. Since he had no old-style currency, he could not buy tickets and came back home. He had always wanted to travel to Galesburg with his wife Louisa. In his mind, it is wonderful town still, with his old frame houses, huge lawns, and tremendous trees, whose branches meet overhead and roof on the streets. It is a place with long and pleasant summer evenings, where people sat out on their lawns, smoked cigars, and talked quietly. So the next day, which during lunch he exchanges $300 for old-style bills, amounting to some 200 only. The loss doesn't bother him much, as he believes that in Galesburg everything will be cheaper, and that he can manage even with a small amount. But he could never again find the corridor leading to the third level. His wife Louisa is worried after knowing all this, and she asks him not to look for the third level any further. Suddenly, Charlie realizes that his psychiatrist friend Sam Winner, with whom he shared his experience, is nowhere to be found. So he and his wife keep looking for him in the weekends. One day, while fussing with his stamp collection, Charlie comes across a letter that was not there earlier. It bears the postmark on a faded 6-cent stamp with a picture of the President Garfield. The envelope was sent on July 18, 1894 to Charlie's grandfather in Gilsburg, and it is addressed to Charlie. The letter reads that Sam has reached Gilsburg and is enjoying his life there. He also invites Charlie and Louisa to Gilsburg. When Charlie goes to the stamp and coin store, he finds out that Sam had brought $800 worth of old currency bills to establish his business of hay feed and grain in Gilsburg. The letter was written by Sam Winner, who was Charlie's psychiatrist also. So, the story brings us to the conclusion that people find it hard to make peace with unpleasant things they come across in life. It brings out a common man's craving for peace and security. Like any common man, Charlie too appreciates the so-called pleasures of everyday life. He wants to stay in the past because 1894 is much more peaceful, secure, and serene. And the world in 1894 has not seen the repercussions of war, the effects of war, the insecurities that come with war. Terror and disease had gotten the better of common folks like Charlie, who wants a transient relief from the harsh realities of life. So dear children, this is the summary of the chapter that I have told you right now, and please, this is science fiction, so you need to go through each and every line of the chapter one at least 2 times, or if it doesn't its understanding is not clear, then you can go even for the 3rd time. But it's not difficult, let me tell you, it's quite easy chapter. And thanks for hearing. In the next video we will discuss the question answers of the chapter.